Yes, the recording is started. Okay. So in the last session, we have discussed about how to create a Linux machine on AWS. Am I right, Bhargav? Are you there in the last session?
No, this is my first session, but I have
Yes,
watched
it's
your
your first
YouTube
session.
video.
Okay. I hope you are comfortable watching my previous video. In the last session, we have learned how to create a Linux machine. Where did we create the Linux machine on? AWS Cloud. So this is my AWS Cloud. So I have created Linux machine. And where did I create this Linux machine? On the cloud platform, and I also have successfully connected from my laptop, isn't it? How did I
Yes, sir.
connect to the Linux machine? Using what
With the help
terminal
of
I have used? I have used a terminal called as
Putty.
Putty. You are right, Krishna. Using Putty, we will have successfully connected to Linux machine. In this session, I also want to quickly repeat how to create a Linux machine again. And the new thing what we are learning is not by Putty, we will be connecting to the Linux machine using a terminal called as Git Bash. Someone has asked me in the last session, so instead of Putty, is there any other terminal? So I'm showing you one more terminal called as Git Bash. We'll also learn how can we connect to that same Linux machine using Git Bash terminal. Git Bash is more easy way to connect to the Linux machine. Okay, so let's quickly go ahead and create a new Linux machine. So let's log into our AWS console. This is my AWS account. I hope you have created a new AWS account. Ramesh, Mallesh, if you have not created a AWS account, please go ahead and create a new AWS account. Okay, now what I'm trying to do, I'm creating a new Bhargav. What I'm doing, I'm creating a new Linux machine, isn't it? Okay, let's do that. Launch instance. Creating a Linux machine is combination of how many steps? A 7-step process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's how many steps? It's a 7-step process. Step 1 is selecting an operating system. You can select whatever the Linux you want. I go ahead with creating an Ubuntu Linux. Perfect. Step 2 is instance type. What type of instance? What is the configuration of the instance? That means Linux machine which I am creating is comes with 1 GB RAM and 1 CPU, so which is eligible for free tier T2 micro. I'm selecting T2 micro because this is the only instance which is eligible for free tier. How many number of instances you are planning to create? At a time I said you can create 10 instances also. Now I don't want to create only one instance. That instance comes with how much GB of storage? That is nothing but a hard disk. 8 GB of hard disk, 1 GB RAM, 1 CPU, and 8 GB hard disk. Next. Tags. Tags are nothing but naming the machine. I want to tag it later. Security group. Very important. Security group is all about opening the port. Not just creating a Linux machine. We need to open the port, isn't it? So that we can successfully connect to that Linux machine. For Linux machine, we need what port? SSH port. So it automatically prompting you the right port. Take the default ports. Click on next. Review and launch. Review the details. We are creating an Ubuntu server with 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM, and SSH port opening with 1 instance. Review the details. Click on launch. One important point. When you click on launch, it will ask you to download a file, Ramesh. At the end, once you're creating a Linux machine, at the end, it will ask you to download a file. I hope you remember what is the file it will prompt you to download. It will ask you to download a file with extension .pem. That's called as what file? Keypair. Am I right, Ramesh? That file is nothing but an extension .pem. That's nothing but a keypair.
Yeah.
Hi, Atam. Thank you for joining. Mallesh, Venkat. Okay, perfect. So it's asking you to download a keypair as expected. Please observe here.
Sir, what are the ports there? Like we have SSH port 22 there. So what are the other ports and
Yes.
what is their uses? Like,
See,
I mean,
what port needs to be opened, it depends upon how you are planning to communicate, which operating system you are planning to communicate. Okay, for example, we are working with what machine? Who is
you
it?
want
Is it
to me,
Krishna?
Krishna. Yes.
Okay, we have created an Ubuntu Linux, isn't it? So generally Linux machine communicates open using SSH port. Okay, instead of Linux, let's say if you have created a Windows machine, Krishna, in case
Yes,
if you
sir.
have created a Windows machine on AWS, then it will ask you, we need to open what port? RDP port. There's something called
Okay.
RDP, stands for remote desktop.
Remote desktop protocol. Yeah.
Uh, let's say if you are connecting to web server, we need to open HTTP port because browser communicates using HTTP port, isn't it? So it all
Yes.
depends upon what operating system you have created and then how are you planning to connect it. Okay, what's the purpose behind it?
Okay.
So for Linux machine, the port what we use is what port? SSH port.
SSH.
Perfect, Krishna. So review and launch. Click on launch. It will ask you to create a new key pair. I want to create a new key pair. Let's say it can be anything. Key pair name can be anything. For example, I want to maintain my name Sunil with today's date. Today is 6th of August. Sunil 6. I want to end with KP. Download the key pair where I want to download my key pair in my anywhere you can download it. I want to download in my E drive in my folder Sunil. I'm saving my key pair. Click on done. We are downloading the key pair launch instances. And then scroll down, view instances. We are done creating a new machine. We are done creating a new machine. Any questions, Akanksh? Creating a machine? Very simple. It's not at all difficult to create a new machine. Okay, let's name the machine as any machine. Linux. The machine is running state. Okay. Not only just creating machine, we also have learned how can we connect to that machine. Yesterday we have learned how can we connect to the machine. We have connected the machine using a terminal called as PuTTY. Now today's session, I don't want to connect to the Linux machine using PuTTY. I want to connect the machine using Git Bash. Malesh, now I want to connect to that Linux machine which is on AWS using what terminal? Git Bash terminal. So what you need to do, you need to download Git Bash. How can you download Git Bash? So go to Google, search for download Git Bash. What's you want to download for what operating system? Windows operating system. Yes, I want to download in my downloads folder. Let's wait for the Git Bash to be downloaded. Please practice whatever we are learning day to day. So if you're comfortable with AWS already, that's okay. If you're not comfortable with the AWS environment, so please practice this connect, create Linux machines, connect using PuTTY, connect using Git Bash, work around this, stop the machines, restart the machines, terminate the machines, play work around with the AWS environment. Yes, the file is downloaded. Okay. Now you need to install this. It's an exe file, isn't it? Are you sure you want to install Git? Just click on next, 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 next. Done. Installing Git Bash is very, very simple. Done. Done. Step 1, what we have done, we have created Linux machine. Step 2, what I have done, downloaded a terminal called as Git Bash. Okay, now once you have installed Git Bash, you will find Git Bash. If you search for here, can you see Git Bash? This is the terminal. Okay, I'm showing you how to connect it. So if you want to connect, first you need to open Git Bash terminal. Where you should open Git Bash terminal? You need to open Git Bash terminal from the location where the PEM file is downloaded. Where is the PEM file downloaded? In the E drive. In the E drive, we have created a folder called Sunil. In that Sunil folder, this is the location where the PEM file is available. This is the latest PEM file which we have downloaded, isn't it? So Sunil, I think by name, Sunil 9KB. So in this folder, where the PEM file is available, right click and you need to open Git Bash here. Open Git Bash from the location where you have downloaded the PEM file, and then you want to connect to which machine, select the machine you want to connect. And then you will find an SSH command. Copy the entire SSH command. Copy. Paste. Are you sure you want to connect? Yes. Connected. Clear? Is it? It's easy. In fact, it's more easier than connecting from Putty. In Putty, what is the additional task? What you need to do is to convert the PEM file to PPK file. Am I right, Uttam? In the last session, what we have done using Putty, what we have done, we have converted a PEM file to PPK file, and then we have connected using Putty. Whereas in Git Bash, you don't need to convert the PEM file to PPK file. Directly using the PEM file, you can open the terminal and then connect.
So here we didn't use the PEM, right? So I mean, because we opened from the path, is it directly picked up or like how?
No, what is the command we have used to connect?
SSH.
This is the SSH command, isn't it? And this command itself contains the PEM file name.
Okay.
Okay. So it identifies that PEM file, and using that PEM file, it automatically gets connected. Okay.
Okay.
Clear, Ramesh?
Yeah. Okay.
Done. Clear. Okay. Next. Now let's start working with Linux. As you know, the prerequisite for DevOps. The prerequisites for DevOps is understanding the concepts of Linux. So let's start working with Linux. Okay, so these are the points what we are learning in today's session. We already have learned how to connect a Linux machine using Git Bash. Let's proceed further. Let's learn how to create a file. These are very, very basics. Quickly, we'll recap it. These are pretty simple commands. Anybody can learn any way. It's very easy how to create a file. In Linux, how to create a file. So let's learn how to create a file. We have a command called cat command. We have a command called cat command, which is used to create a file. Let's say I want to create a file with the name f1. I want to create a file with the name f1. So the command what you need to use is cat, use a greater than symbol, mention the file name which you want to create. F1 is the name of the file. Once the file gets created, and you need to enter the content into the file. Let's experience it. I want to create a file with the name f1. Please observe, cat is a command, greater than, mention the file which you want to create, f1. The file got created. Write the contents into the file. For example, hello. Welcome to DevOps. Thank you. Control D to come out of the cat command, you will get the dollar prompt back. Clear? Is this clear how to create a file? So cat greater than file name, write the contents, and then Control D to come out of the file. Let's say I want to create one more file. What's there in it? Cat greater than, what's the next file which I want to create? Let's say F2. Write any data, whatever you want to write, and then how to come out of the cat command, Control D to come out of the cat command. I'm done with creating a file. So you know how to create a file in Linux. How many files you have created? 2 files, F1 and F2. How do we create the files? By using the command called as cat. Any questions, Ramesh?
No.
Very simple. Okay. How can I read the data? Let's say now we know we have two files. One is F1 and F2. I want to look at the contents which are there in the file F1. Look, file is ready. File is having some contents. We have created a file called F1. I want to read the data in the file. Whenever you want to look at the information in a file, write cat followed with the file name F1. Don't use greater than symbol. Greater than symbol, you need to use it only when you are creating a new file. We are not creating a new file here. We want to look at the data in the existing file. Just type cat F1. Are you able to see the data, Ramesh? Isn't it? So cat
Yeah.
followed with F. Are you able to see the data? Greater than symbol is used only when you're creating a file. If you want to read the data into the file, yes, just write cat followed with the file name. That's it. Clear about how to create a file. So we are done with first step, creating a file. How many files we have created? We have created two files. What are the two files which we have created? F1 and F2. How to see list of all the files? Bhargav, how to see list of all the files? Whenever you want to see a list of all the files, we have a command called ls. List stands for list, which helps you to see list of all the files. ls. How many files we're getting? Two files, F1 and F2. Yes. Are you able to see the
Sorry
files
to
which you have
interrupt.
created? Yes, welcome.
So,
Yes, hello.
sorry to interrupt you, sir. Just now I got connected. Can you please tell me the command names which you have taught till now in today's session?
We have just started only one command, cat command, Alok. Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
we
you.
have only learned one command called as cat command, using which we have learned how to create a new file. That's all. And how to see
Okay,
list of all the files, we have a command called ls, which helps you to see list of all the files.
okay,
Clear?
thank
Clear
you.
about this?
Yes,
Perfect.
yes.
I want to remove a file. I don't want F2. We learned how to create a file. Let's say I want to remove a file. I don't want a file F2. Can I remove the file? Yes. What is the command? We have a command called rm followed the file name which you want to remove. I want to remove F2. File is removed. Rm command is used to remove a file. Look, before removing, how many files we are having? Observe here, you can see the screen F1 and F2 are the two files which we have. Now I have removed one file. Now if you see the list, you have only one file. Done. You know how to create a file, you know how to remove a file. Okay. Next. Second way to create a file is by using a touch command. First way of creating the file, we have learned how to create a file by using cat command. Now I'm showing you the second way, one more way to create a file by using a touch command. Example, touch. I want to create a file with the name F3. File gets created, please observe. Touch F3. File got created. I'm done. I want to create F4. Touch F4. The file got created. Have you observed there is a difference between creating a file using cat command, creating a file by using touch command? The point of difference is when you create a file by using cat command, what happens? The file gets created. Control will enter into the file. We write the contents in the file and we use Control D to come out of the file. That's what we have experienced, isn't it, Venkat? Using cat command, we have learned how to create a file and how to write the data into the file and how to come out of the cat command by using Control D. Then only you get the prompt back. Whereas if you create a file using touch command, please observe what is happening. Immediately you are getting the prompt back. That means the files which are created using touch command are empty files. What files? Empty files. Clear about this? Did you understand the difference? Okay, Atam. So touch command for empty files. ls, you get all the files, f1, f3, f4. F1 is created by using the cat command, f3 and f4 we have created by using the touch command. Perfect. Okay. So we are done creating a file in two ways, by using the cat command, by using the touch command. We have learned how to remove a file also.
Sir, can we
RF
use VI
command.
editor in Git Bash?
Yes, you can also use VI editor, Krishna. You can also use VI editor, Krishna. Let's say, for example, I want to create a file using VI editor. That is the third way. Let's say I want to create a file Fi using VI editor. VI editor is more comfortable editor, more better than cat command, using which you can create the files and write the data into the files. Using VI editor also. Look at this. VIM stands for VI editor improved version. What file I want to create? Fi. VIM Fi. The editor gets open. So in that you need to go to insert mode. Right now by default the VI editor opens a file in the command mode. By default opens in a command mode. You need to go to insert mode. When you press insert key, you'll be entering into the insert mode. Please observe here at the bottom, you need to observe the moment I press an insert key, you'll be moved into an insert mode. And in the insert mode, you can insert the contents whatever you want. Escape to come out of the insert mode. I press escape. Yes, you're out of the insert mode. And how to save and quit? :WQ to save and quit. :WQ to save and quit. Done with creating a file. F5. Got it? So finally, Bhargav, in how many ways we can create a file in Linux? In 3 ways we can create a file in Linux. The first way, cat greater than the file name. Second way, touch file name. Third way is VIM, stands for VI editor improved version, using which also you can create the file name. You can create a file. Clear? And ls command to see list of all the files. ls command to see list of all the files. Okay. Any questions? Bhargav?
Will the file get stored in any directory, like any location?
You mean to know you mean to say in which location these files are created?
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't it? Whenever
Yes.
you want to know in which location these files are created, okay, you need to write a command called pwd, stands for print working directory. We have a command called pwd, stands for print working directory, where in which you can see these files f1, f3, f4, f5 are created in home/12. Bhargav, clear about the finding the location where the file has been created? What is the command?
Yes. Yeah.
pwd stands for print working directory. It will print you the current directory in which you are working. Perfect. So we had learned how to deal with files. We have learned how to deal with the files. Let's learn how can we deal with directories. Creating a directory, deleting a directory. How can we go to the previous directory? So let's learn all these concepts first. To start with, creating a directory. I want to create a directory with the name D1. I want to create a directory with the name D1. What's the command? mkdir is the command. Stands for make directory. mkdir is a command, stands for make directory, which helps you to create a directory. mkdir d1, the directory gets created. Observe, mk dir d1 directory got created. Done. ls command, as we know, it will show list of all the files. It also shows list of all the directories also. Please observe. D1, are you able to see a directory? Yes. So ls, don't think that it only shows you files. It shows you files as well as directories. Clear about how to create a directory. I want to create one more directory, D2. What's there in it? mk dir D2. Second directory got created. ls. Yes, you can see both directory D1 and D2. Clear about how to create a directory. Okay. Now, how to remove a directory? How to remove a directory? If mkdir stands for make directory, which helps in creating the directory, rmdir is a command which helps you to remove the directory. rmdir is used to remove a directory. I want to remove a directory D2. Directory is removed. How to confirm? List. Are you able to find D2? No, it's missing. It's removed. You now know how to create directory. You also know how to remove the directory also. Any questions? Directory is something like
Sir,
a folder. In Windows, we have a folder. In the same way, in Linux, it is called as a directory. Yes, please, Krishna.
yeah, sir, what are the different flags available in RMDIR, MKDIR?
I'll
Like
tell you. I'm
RM,
coming to that
yeah,
point. RM-R, we have it. Okay, look at
yeah,
this. I'm coming to that point. Done. Directory is something like a folder. We all know that. Can we create files inside a directory? Yes, why not? Can we create a file inside a directory? Yes, definitely. We have a directory D1 as of now. We have a directory D1. Inside a directory, I want to create a file called as, let's say F10 is a file which I want to create inside the directory. We know, let's say we can create a file by using touch command. We can create a file by using the touch command, no doubt. But you don't want to create a file inside the directory. If you write a command touch here, the file gets created in the present working directory, present working directory. I don't want to create a file in the present working directory. I want to create a file inside the D1. So first you need to change the directory. You want to move into D1. So cd command stands for change directory. D1 is a command which helps you to enter into a directory. cd D1. You are entered into the directory. What is the proof? What is the proof that you have entered into the directory? Again, you print it. Whenever you want to confirm, print it. Right now, previously you are in /Ubuntu. Now you are in /home/Ubuntu. Now you are in D1. Now, when you create a file now by using touch command, touch F10, the file gets created inside the directory. Done. ls will show you the list of all the files inside D1. How many files we have inside D1? Only one file. Simple, straightforward. You know how to create a directory. You know how to remove a directory. Removing also we have learned it. How did we remove the directory? By using rmdir. We also know how to enter into a directory by using cd, stands for change directory. You enter into a directory called D1. Okay, and you have created a file. Now, what is your current location? Currently, you are working on /home/ubuntu D1. I want to go back to its parent directory. I want to go back to the parent directory. Currently, I'm working on D1. For D1, the parent is Ubuntu. For Ubuntu, the parent is home. From D1, you want to go back to its parent directory. How to go back to the parent directory? CD double dot. Will help you to go to its corresponding parent directory. Enter. Right now, you're in the parent directory of D1. How to confirm? Print it. Now we are in Ubuntu. Clear how to move to the next directory and how to move to the previous directory also. ls to see list of all the files and directories. We have a directory D1. Okay. Now this directory, is it an empty directory or is it having some content? The directory D1 which we have created, do you think it's an empty directory or is it having content?
F10 file is there.
Yes, it is having some file. It is having some file. I want to remove the directory D1. What's there in it? We already have learned rmdir is a command which is used to remove the directory. So as we know, this command, I'm running the same command rmdir D1. Observe what happens. Command fails. Last time command was successful, rmdir D2, it has successfully removed the directory. Same command, now it's failing. This means, try to understand, you're getting a message directory is not empty. rmdir will successfully remove the directory only when it is empty. When the directory is empty, rmdir will work. But the directory is not empty, directory is having some files. Now, if you want to remove the directory which is not empty, the command what you need to use is rm-r stands for recursive, followed with what mentioned the directory you want to delete D1. What happens? The directory is removed and the files inside the directory is also removed. Done. 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 rm-r done. So in two ways we can remove the directories, by using rmdir, the other one is rm-r. Got it? Now this will remove directory even though it's having some content. It recursively deletes the files and then finally it deletes the directories. That's the concept of rm-r. So you know how to create file, remove a file, how to create a directory, how to delete the directory, how to go its previous directory. Fine. Good. Let's proceed. This is my requirement. Try to understand what is my requirement. I want to create this directory structure. I want to create how many directories? 4 directories. My requirement is I want to create a directory called D1. Inside the D1, I want to create one more directory, D2. Inside D2, I want to create a directory D3. Inside D3, I want to create directory D4. This is my requirement. D1, D2, D3, D4. This is the directory structure which I want to create. For D4, the parent directory is D3. For D3, the parent directory is D2. For D2, the parent directory is D1. This is what I want to do it now. So what is the series of commands we need to learn? Look at this, pretty simple. First, mkdir D1. Directory gets created. You need to enter into the directory cd D1. Krishna, what is the next command we need to do?
Then again we have
MKDIR.
to create D2
D2. Now you need to enter into D2. How to enter into D2? CD.
CD. Yeah, D2.
Again MKDIR. D3. Again CD. D3. Inside D3, make directory D4. If you want, you can enter into the D4 also. And you can confirm or complete path by using print working directory. So any questions, please stop me and ask me your questions. Sandeep, welcome to the session. These are simple, straightforward concepts. So I'm going a little fast, self-explanatory. Let's do it. MKDIR directory got created. Entered into directory. MKDIR making the second directory. Entering to second directory. Make the third directory. Enter into the third directory. Make fourth directory. Enter fourth directory. PWD stands for print working directory. See, currently you are pointing out in /home/Ubuntu. Inside Ubuntu you have created D1. Inside D1 you want to go to D2. Inside D3. Inside D3 you have created D4. Like this, you can create list of all the files in any directory, whatever you want. You need to be comfortable entering into the directory and then create the files or directories inside the directory. Clear? Now, we have learned how to go to the parent directory. Akash, right now your directory is D4, working directory is D4. And we have learned how to go to its parent directory. For D4, the parent directory is D3. Now, how to enter into its parent directory? We have a command called cd ..
Put m dot.
This helps you to go to its previous directory. Okay, but my requirement is I don't want to go to previous directory. I want to go to /home/Ubuntu. Directly, I want to jump to this particular location. If you know how to go to its parent directory, you need to run the command cd .. 4 times, isn't it? First you need cd .. you go to D3. Again cd .. you need to go to D2. Again cd .. you'll go to D1, and then again cd .. you'll go to Ubuntu. Instead of running those cd .. multiple times, you can directly point out directly to the location where you want to move to. I want to go to /home/Ubuntu. So cd, write the complete path /home/ done. Directly you are jumping into Ubuntu. From Ubuntu, I want to directly jump to D4 or D3. I want to jump to D3. What's that? cd /home. Inside home, we have a directory called Ubuntu. Inside Ubuntu, we have a directory D1. Inside D1, we have a directory D2. Inside D2, we have a directory. Done. Done. So Ramesh, now we are familiar moving directories and going to the required path, whichever you want to work. Isn't it? Am I clear?
Yeah.
We know how to create files, remove files, create directories, remove directories, and then you are in a position to go to the required path by using the change directory command. Let's proceed. We also have discussed about this rmdir followed with rm-r. rmdir will remove only the empty directory. rm-r will delete the directory even it is having some content. Fine. I want to work with /home/Ubuntu. In this current path, we have 4 files and 1 directory. Ramesh, as we can see here, we are having 4 files and then 1 directory. Okay. Now, how to identify which one is a file and which one is a directory?
This is said now navigate for file destination.
You're getting a background noise, Ramesh. Yes, thank you for your mute. Krishna, can
Yes, sir.
you tell me how many files we have and how many directories we are having?
We have 4 files: F1, F3, F1, and F5, and we have D1 as a directory.
How to identify that how do you identify that D1 is a directory?
As visual, I can see the blue color in
Yes,
directory and
as
white.
of now, one way of identifying which one is a file and which one is a directory is by using color identification. Directory is in blue color and files are in white color. Text, isn't it, Krishna? Let's say if the terminal is not supporting colors. If the terminal which you are working with Linux is not supporting colors, everything is black and white. Now, how can we identify which one is a file and which one is a directory? Okay, so let's learn more about more information about files and directories. Please look at this. We also know that ls is a command which helps you to list of all the files and directories. Not only listing out all the files, I want to know the file size. What is the size of F5? What is the size of F1? What is the size of F3? I want to see the file size and directory sizes. I want to get more information about the size of the file. I also want to know when the date and time when the file has been created. This means you want to get more information about the files and directories. You want to have more information about the files and directories. We have a command called ls-l. -l stands for long list. Will provide you more information about files and directories. Let's look at the output here. Yes, you got more information about files and directories. We have directory D1, F1, F2, same files. You're able to see it, but you get more information. Let's learn what is the more information you have. You can know using ls-l, you can track when the file has been created, the date and time when the file or directory has been created. Yes, this file has been created on August 6th. Specific time. Date and time you can track it. This is what 34, 409, 650. This is the size. The size of F5 is 50 bytes. 34 bytes. The file size. Directory size is 409, so the default size of directory. This is about the size. Look at the size of F3 and F4. Interesting. Size is 0 because we have created files F3 and F4 using what command? Touch command. Touch command is used for creating empty files, isn't it? As I told you, as it is empty files, you're getting the size as 0. I hope you are understanding. Clear, Dheeraj? You are in a position to know not only just list of all the files, you are in a position to know more information like date and time, size of the file. You're able to track it by using ls-l. Clear? Not only that, let's track this information. This is nothing but the owner of the file. This is the group which the file belongs to. We'll discuss about the groups concept later. Okay, this is called as links. We'll discuss about links later. These are the permissions given to a file or a directory. So now you're in a position to get more information. How are you able to see more information? ls-l. Clear? Okay. So you know about the concept of long list. Fine. Fine. Next point. ls. Okay, it's not a long list. It just lists out the names of the files and directories. I want to create one more file with the name .f6. I want to create one more file with the name .f6. I want to start the file. File name should start with .f6. Dot. This is my scenario. What happens when a file name starts with dot? Please observe here. Can I create it using touch command? Yes, why not? File name should start by dot. File created, no doubt. ls, are you able to get that information about f6? File has successfully created, no doubt, but are you able to get the f6 information? No. This means the file which you have just created, .f6, is a hidden file. Hidden file. In Linux, when a file name starts with dot, it's a hidden file. That's the reason you're not able to see the file. Same the case with directory. If you create a directory with the name dot, starts with dot, it's a hidden directory. mkdir dot d2 directory got created, but that's not visible. It's a hidden directory. In Linux, when a file name starts with dot, it's a hidden file. When a directory name starts with dot, it's a hidden directory.
Sir,
And by
why do we
default,
create hidden files and hidden directories?
It's not we create. Sometimes when you install a particular software, you find some default files which are hidden files. Krishna,
So,
isn't it?
yeah, what is the use of those files? Like,
No, it's
why like,
we may
is
never
it
get an opportunity to create a hidden file. We will generally not
okay?
create a hidden file. Sometimes your operating system comes with a hidden files. If you want to know a hidden file, okay, or how to create a hidden file, this is a way you can create a hidden file. We generally never get a chance to work with a hidden file, but you should be in a position to work with a hidden file. There's some hidden files available. I want to see all the hidden files also, Krishna, normal files, as well as you want to look at the hidden files also. If you want to see the hidden files, ls-a stands for all. All will show you all files, normal files and hidden files. Observe here. Krishna, can you see the file which we have created? D2 is the directory which we have created.
Yeah.
F6 is the file which you have created. Are you able to track it? Did you create all
Yes,
this
yes.
dot profile, dot vminfo,
No.
dot bash rc? Did we create all this? No. Generally, we will not create it. But when you install some softwares, when you're working with operating systems, you sometimes want to see is there any hidden files or not. You should be in position to see it, isn't it?
Yes.
So we
sir,
have
can
three
we check
options. We have
one more doubt, sir? Stay with.
okay.
Like, who has created .ssh hidden directory? Like, we use ls-a and -l also along with the same.
Yes.
Like, can we
You
use
want to
two flag in one time?
Yes, that's what I'm coming to. Let's say you want to know the date and time when this hidden directory got created. You want to know the size of the hidden directory. You want to know the owner of the file. Owner of the file is nothing but the person who has created this particular file. This kind of more information you want to see it. Yes, we can see it. Look at this. As of now, with respect to ls, we have come across three options. One is a normal ls command, which will show you simple list of all the files and directories. ls-l will give you more information about list of all the files and directories with size, date and time, and the permissions. ls-a will show you list of all the files as well as hidden files. You can use the combination as Krishna, I think you have asked me, or Krishna, if someone has asked me, ls-la. Combination of options. You get the long list of normal files, hidden files. Are you getting the long list? In this long list, you can see the complete information, as well as are you able to see the hidden files also .d2.
Yeah.
Clear? Perfect, Krishna. You can know who is the owner of that particular hidden file when the hidden file has been created somewhere in the April. So you should be in a position to write the command and get the information whatever you need. Yes, Dheeraj.
How to identify that it is a directory, sir, when it is displayed in black and white combination?
You're right. Okay. As of now, Dheeraj, we are identifying which one is a directory and which one is a file by using color. Am I right? As of
Yes,
now,
sir.
what we know is color identification. That's all. Directory is in blue color and files are in white color. If the terminal, as I told you, if the terminal is not supporting colors, how can we identify which one is a file and which one is a directory? Please observe, Dheeraj.
Yes, sir.
ls-l, what this command shows, Dheeraj?
ls-l.
L stands for long list.
Yes, long list.
Long list will show you more information about date and time. Size. Are you getting more information, Dheeraj?
Yes.
In this
Yes,
long
sir.
list, these are called as permissions.
Yeah.
Files will have files and directories will have permissions. Right now, we don't worry about these permissions. Observe the first character. If the first
Okay.
character is D, that means it is a directory.
Directory.
If the first character is hyphen, this means it's a file. That's it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Now you are in a position to identify which one is a file and which one is a directory, even though the terminal is not supporting colors. Okay,
Yes, sir.
let's look at it. Let's create one more directory. D10 directory got created. ls-l. For both D1 and D10, starting with what letter? D. So it's a directory. Whereas files will not start with D, it starts with hyphen.
Yeah.
Perfect. So not only color identification, now you can get that information by using -L. What if the file name starts with dot? If the file name starts with dot, it's a hidden file. How to see hidden files? Yes, we know how to see hidden files by using -A.
Can we apply, sir, cat command in hidden files to see what are the data there?
Yes, so for example, first let's create a file with some data. Cat greater than dot F11. Cat greater than dot F11. And writing some content. Control D. How to come out of the cat command? Done. ls, you will not find that dot F11. ls-a, all files. Now you can see dot F11. I want to see the content. Cat dot F11. Are you able to see the content? Once you know the file name, yes, you can get the content inside the file by using the cat command. How to create a hidden directory, we have learned it. Combination of ls commands. Combination. This is what we have learned. Combination of ls, l and a. These are two combinations. We can work with the combinations. You can also write any combination, ls-al also. It works the same. You get the same. Any combination, any order, whichever you feel. General industry uses ls-la. So general standard. How to copy a file? How to copy a file? Which file you want to copy? Let's for example, F1. I want to see the information in the file F1. Cat F1. Okay, this content I want to copy. We have a file F1. I want to copy that file into F100. Do you have F100? No, we don't have F100 now. Do you have F100? We don't have F100. But still, the file gets created and the content is also copied. CP stands for copy. Source and destination. What is the source file? F1. Space. What is the destination file? F100. Copy command will help you to copy the contents from source to destination. You don't need to have a destination file. F100, you don't need to create it. It gets created automatically. File got created. ls F100 what created? Can I see the information in F100 cat? Are you able to get same data? Hello, welcome to DevOps, which is there in same content. Have you copied? Yes, you're right. Clear? So you now know how to use a copy command, which helps you to copy files from one file to other file. Clear? These are pretty simple basics commands, which we should be very familiar with. For a quick revision, few of you already maybe already know these commands, maybe use these commands. So I want to quickly revise these commands so that we all be on same level so that we can proceed before the DevOps. The prerequisite is that we should be comfortable working with Linux commands. Okay, so this is what I have planned for today's session. I hope you have enjoyed the today's session. What's our plan for tomorrow? Our plan for tomorrow is to work with permissions. We know files are having some permissions. You can see the long list we are having some permissions. RW, etc. stands for read, write, execute. Yes, we can see permissions. How we can work out with permissions. We can give the permissions, we can remove the permissions. How to deal with permissions is very important. How in two ways we can work out with permissions. Alphabetical notation and numerical notation. Both are there. How can we work out with the numerical notation? How can we work with the alphabetical notation? Okay, how to work with package management in Linux. Whenever you want to install any particular package, what is the process we need to follow? So these are all our upcoming topics for our tomorrow session. Any questions on today's session?
Sir,
Every session is recorded. Alok, every session is recorded. Even this session is also recorded. Please check with management and get the video in case if you want to replay the video. Yes.
okay, you are talking about yesterday's session. Actually, we had discussion regarding backup.
Yes. Yes.
Regarding that, I am talking.
Okay. Okay. So this session you are okay?
Yes, today's session
Okay.
I have attended.
Okay. I want to
had
have. Okay. Did you check with management regarding this backup today's session?
management. I had called at reception, but they don't have any information.
Okay. 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 See, 1 minute. Once after practicing, what you need to do, disconnect to that Linux machine. Disconnect to the Linux machine, and then don't sign out when the machine is running state. What you have to do, we already have discussed in the last session. You need to stop the machine. It just takes 1 minute time for the machine to get stopped. Only after stopping, then you need to sign out. Don't directly sign out when the machine is in running state. Clear? Alok, did you get a chance to look at the video of the day one?
I had called them, but they don't have any information. That is the problem.
Do you, do you have you
Can
seen
I
the
add
video?
something like, sir, both the videos are on YouTube. Yesterday I saw.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you, thank you.
yeah, in the playlist.
So Alok,
If you go in the channel of Durgasoft, you will see a playlist of DevOps
shall I
with
do it?
AWS
Shall I
by
do it
Mr.
right now?
Smalia. Yeah, you
Krishna?
can try now, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. I watched both the videos, sir.
Okay, please guide me 1 minute. I think we need to open the
Yes,
Durgasoft channel.
yes, Durgasoft channel.
Give me just a minute.
In playlist, sir. Don't scroll down, sir. You just go through the playlist there in the tab. Yeah.
Linux for administration, search for DevOps. This one, yesterday.
Yeah, 22 hours something.
This is demo one, session one.
We have session 2 also, sir.
1 minute. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect.
Yeah, below one is the section 2. Yeah.
Okay, so please go through this, Alok. Have a look at the video, Alok. It's all theoretical. Okay, so go have a look at the video, Alok, and let me know your feedback. Okay, so if you want, you can, as usual, go to the Durgasoft channel and then get the video, whatever you're looking for. Okay, thank you. So 4th of August is the first session, 5th August will be the second session, and today is the third session. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you have enjoyed. See you tomorrow, where we'll continue important concepts of tomorrow's session. Is very important because we are dealing with permissions, which we frequently do it in DevOps. Thank you. Bye, Sandeep, Venkat, Krishna.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Bye. Ethan, thank you for joining. Can you hear me? Please confirm. By default, you will be on mute.
Yes.